Hey friends, it's Amber and welcome to my week in the life for Friday. So to start off with, I wanted to let you know I had an issue with my overhead camera mount. It used to be screwed into my ceiling until a few days ago. It's no longer screwed into my ceiling, so I'm dealing with some issues with that. It's temporarily mounted to something on my desk. I've dealt with it being on my desk before and it does bounce, so I'm going to apologize in advance if my video seems shakier than normal. Like right now I'm not touching anything, but when I start like touching my desk it's gonna shake more. So I'm waiting on a new mount to come in the mail, but I really wanted to scrapbook because it's like holiday weekend and I've got my photos already printed. When this happened, it literally, like, I was putting my phone in the clamp and it just fell from the ceiling and I had like drywall dust literally everywhere. Like landed on my photos, it landed on my water cup, it's still in my scrapbooking tray, like it got everywhere. It's on my keyboard, like everywhere. So anyway, I just wanted to make you aware of that. So anywho, let's dive into my photos that I printed out for the day. So I have several morning photos. I'm going to start out with a 6-pocket. Actually, do I have enough? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over here. I have 7 out of 12. That might be too few, or so I'm either going to do an 8-pocket, which would give me 2 free spaces, or actually there would only be 1 space. So I think I'm going to just use that opportunity to play with some more of the cards that I've been wanting to play with from the Now kit, because there's been a lot that really coordinate well. Oh, hot mess right now. Sorry. There's been a lot that really coordinate well, but I haven't been able to use because I haven't had space. So maybe I'll take advantage of that. And so anyway, I have a picture of myself in the shower, rinsing the shampoo for my hair. I have a photo of getting ready to start putting the cream that I use for my daily conditioner, and kind of a shot of myself like finishing doing my hair, like with my hair gel and stuff, and what my bathroom like looks like from my perspective. I also did my makeup that day. I had this new makeup that I wanted to try and it was really pretty, so I wanted to take a picture of it as well, because like the second I touched a brush to it, like the logo was gone. I had a silly picture of the cat eating like from upside down his food bowl. Usually he would be sitting this way eating out of it, but he was doing it upside down, so I thought that was a funny capture. I had my Wordle of the day, and then my other one, which is way back here, is my weather screenshot for the day. It was slightly different because this one showed like how the entire state was like getting hammered with rain. So then I have a shot. The funny thing is that all along I was thinking, oh, this is a shot from the end of the day, getting ready to leave. Like this is a shot on my way to work, sitting at a red light. Because I realized afterwards that my hair was still wet. It doesn't look as good when it's dry. So I was able to fix the journaling right before I printed it. So I'm gonna have 2 full-size shots back to back, and I would like to use another one of these pieces from the Now story kit as well. I used one on day 1 and I haven't used one since, so I'd want to get back to that. Maybe I'll use this yellow one with her like amber colored eyes there. Oh, that would be so pretty. Or maybe tucked in here. So I've got a picture of Tiger Lily on my lap here in my perspective, just a nice close-up shot. Just my sweet pea. And then these are my not so great shots. Would I have loved to get a great photo of our family at dinner? Sure. Was nobody paying attention? Yes. So I had a shot of dinner, not glamorous at all, picture of my plate, picture of Jarrett looking at me sitting on the couch, picture of myself sitting on the couch, and then my 4x10 pocket pages. This is a shot through my windshield. Oftentimes, especially late in the week, like Fridays, I will meet the kid's mom at this meeting point at a mall that's like kind of halfway between our houses. It's near where I work, which is a blessing, but it's near a mall, and we meet outside this Shake Shack, which is kind of separate from the mall. It's easy to spot our cars, and we do the kid drop off. So I just kind of thought it was a fun, blurry photo showing that it was raining, and it was a way to tell that story. Okay, and so my final photo is going to be a 7 by 8 1/4. I'm probably going to put it on the back of either this pattern paper or this pattern paper. I haven't decided quite which one yet. But if you follow me on Instagram at all, you may have seen that I shared a like 20-second clip of us surprising Caitlin with Taylor Swift tickets. And I expected her to like freak out, scream, cry like a 15-year-old girl would. But instead, I'll show you. She looked in the bag with shock, saw this ticket printed out, gasped, and leapt out of her chair and gave me a massive hug and burst into tears and cried and just said thank you, and then hugged her dad and said thank you. So it was really, really amazing. It's something I'll never forget. So I really wanted to put it in the album. So then she also finally, like, she didn't even open the bag. She saw the ticket and freaked out. So here she's like opening some bracelets that I had made, the t-shirt from the tour I had got, the ticket, and then she decided to start making her own bracelets. So I pulled the ticket in, added a little, these are like a weird size photo. I figured out what space I had left and made them 2.5 by, like, they're like 2 3/8 or something. I think I figured out what 7 divided by 3 was, and that's what worked out. So I will probably be punching the holes on this side, which was fine if they went through the barcode. That was like no big deal, because it'll be the nighttime story on the back of one of these. So I'll get a chance to use some pattern paper in the album. Not sure what's going to go on this yet, but this will be a fun one to play with some extras that I've been wanting to add in, because I've been so photo heavy all the previous days. So excited about that. Some other papers that I had pulled in were here and here. I don't know if I have enough content for all that, so that's why I'm thinking this might be better. So I just need to, and then these I had pulled aside too, which that doesn't coordinate. And this could actually be fun because it could give me a spot to journal some stuff, and we'll see. And then put this on the back, the story of that. So we will see what I figure out what to do. So anyway, that's going to be my photos for this day. I'm really excited to work with them. I haven't even pulled my album out yet because I have such limited space on my disc now. So like I said, if my cropping is weird or I'm shaky, I apologize already in advance. It's going to be a weird video, but I can't wait another like 4 days to start working on this. I still have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to work on. I'd really like to get this album wrapped up. So I'm going to pull out what we've got going here. Okay, so as you know, we've got my sticker sheet that I've already printed out with my timeline for my 5 pocket, not a pocket, but my 3 by 8. I've got my yellow card here. Oh, and I had set aside, I thought I was going to be using more of these, but I had set aside the core memory to include on this photo of me telling her about this. So maybe I'll put it somewhere in between one of the photos with like a heart, or in case it doesn't go on there at all, I had also kind of been spotting from these tags that I've been using. I think this wonderful memory might fit in there without cutting anything major off, and be a way to include the tags that I've been doing with a really good thing. I could do this thankful for this moment. It's really nice and bright, but I think wonderful memory will be the best. But I also had saved that core memory. I've got all of my other things that you've been seeing me work with. I don't know if I'm going to use this or not, because I don't have any other food photos except for dinner. Friday is really hard to see. I haven't been able to use these very well. We'll see how it goes. So that's all my embellishments, my chipboard label, Friday tag, and then my 2 pocket pieces, and then my Friday stories. So, oh, and that's the other thing I forgot to mention when I was flipping through here with these, I only have 2 photos and 1 of these. So I'm also going to use that as an excuse to put in some pattern paper as well. So I'm thinking maybe the floral pattern that I've been using so much of might go in there. So just wanted to include that in my notes for you guys. So I'm ready to get started. Okay, friends, so I got all my photos cropped out. And the next thing I'm doing here is grabbing a 9x12 page protector and chopping off the bottom row. So I'm just getting my photos sorted. I have picked the morning photos for the front, and the ones that can kind of go anywhere will go on the back. So just kind of getting those into place. Actually, I should really say getting ready photos, because the one is still Cypher eating breakfast, but that's okay. So now I'm just kind of getting all the photos into position. I was trying to decide there if I wanted to put any of the photos on the front, but I decided to go with pattern paper with my journaling and the other 2 photos on the back based on kind of the timeline of the day. So I'm just getting my, I had to trim that one a little bit, that's why there's a jump and you see me putting it in twice there. Getting my 4x6 and 4x4 photos put in to the pockets, and I pulled another one that I had printed previously from another day of one of the cats that I hadn't been able to use, and I added that in off camera. Now I'm just trying to decide which pattern paper I wanted to use. I kind of was stuck on which one for a while, even considered using that Craft Week in the Life packaging, but ended up going with the pink One Day at a Time. So spoiler alert there. But I couldn't really make a decision. I had it out, but I wasn't really 100% sure, so just kind of paused and moved on to what I did want to do. So I definitely decided to use this moment word phrase transparency. I tucked it into the pocket opposite of that photo, and I'll eventually staple it in place, but for now I'm just kind of picking and choosing where the embellishments are going to go. I originally had put my transparent pocket in the bottom left hand corner, but it was in a darker portion of the photo. And eventually I'm going to add some of the floral pattern paper, and it just didn't look right. So I'm going to end up switching some of these pockets around, but I'm not going to make you sit through the entire thing. But it was just a little bit difficult to see. So I ended up moving it to the top right where that now card is currently sitting. And it was a brighter portion of the photo, so it just popped more and looked really good. So just kind of trying to figure out where the cards are going to go, where the embellishments are going to go. I did want to use that sunshine die cut, but I would have used it if it was like a full circle and not made to look kind of like a quote bubble. It just didn't really look right, and I didn't want to cut it off. And here I was even still debating if I was even going to use the Friday plastic circle, because it was so hard to see the Friday. So I briefly considered putting the Friday tag in that place instead, but it's all eventually going to work out, and I'll put that on a different part of a different photo. But just kind of figuring out where embellishments are going to go, you know, trying to not put circles right next to circles, green right next to green, things like that. And then here's where I decided to pull out the pattern paper scraps that I had and cut out a 3x4 piece. And then once I start pulling that out, I'm going to rearrange everything, because that upper right pocket just kind of dominated the whole layout. So I'm going to move that to the bottom left and the transparency the top right. And because of those changes, I'll have to rearrange everything on the back side as well. So no big deal, just trying to explain my thought process to you guys a little bit. And there I had also decided to potentially tuck in that flower growth photo that was also a leftover from a previous day, but I ultimately decided to go with the Heidi Swap pattern paper instead. So here you can see I'm just being a little bit indecisive. I wasn't sure yet if I was going to cover that pocket on the left hand side there, so that was also part of the reason why I couldn't decide if I was going to go craft, because then you saw the craft pocket from the front, craft pocket from the back, and then the pattern paper, and it just seemed like a lot. So I was just kind of debating and moving things around and just trying to balance things out and make decisions based on what you see. So here's where I finally decided to start rearranging things, because when I keep flipping back and forth, it's because something's not right and I'm not sure what it is yet. But I won't really start gluing things down until I am confident in my decisions of what is going on. So here I just needed to trim off a tiny little edge. For some reason, one pocket was smaller than the other. So it fit perfectly in the first pocket, but not the second one. And just getting everything tweaked around. So just kind of finishing up this section, and then we'll move on to my 3x8 card here in just a moment. I realized that I never considered a photo or printed a photo, and so instead of using the green floral photo in the 10x4 pocket, I switched it to this card here, and I was really happy with that choice. Got all of my double-sided sticky tape all around the outside, trimmed with my scissors around the edge. I apologize that some of it's cut off. My camera's a lot closer to me working on the table than it normally is, so it's a lot harder to show everything, but we'll get it fixed soon. Part of my new system came in. So just getting everything repunched there, and then I'm going to do that little trick I do where I add a little bit of 1/8 extra tape to the side and add a little bit more pattern paper, and I'm also just picking another chipboard flower there to add to the corner. That's been a consistent thing. But I love coming up with a system that works, that's repeatable, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. You know, adds in pops of color, lets you use up your stash. You know, I'm using up the pattern paper that I've literally had for like 14 years or something, however old this paper was when I tried to look it up. Like, it's old. You know, so I'm using it in a fun, creative way, and I'm happy about that. So got that trimmed out, and then decided to use one of the tags. I thought that was the perfect little sentiment there, so just adding that on with the brad and getting it adhered down. And decided to go ahead and get the other one adhered down as well onto the Taylor Swift layout page. So using red line tape on those since they're outside of the page protector. And then now I'm jumping into the embellishments for the transparent pocket circle. So I backed both of the transparencies with white paper, and then I'm attaching them to the either side of the transparent card that I created. And then I'll add the chipboard to the outside of the page protector for some texture and just to make it look a little cleaner. And I was a little bit happier with the Friday circle, the way that came out. So I apologize that was a little bit off camera. I stapled that in place, added the Rise and Shine die cut with some foam squares to give it a little bit of lift. And then now I'm back to adding the chipboard on the outside here for this one. I'm not sure why I was jumping all around there. Now I'm getting ready to add this tag here for this page, and I'm going to put on a kind of a coordinating chipboard, and I briefly considered adding my label there but decided not to. Sorry, it's really hard to see here right now. Adding stuff into the pockets, kind of getting myself organized and trying to find an embellishment to go, and happy with that die cut that I found there. That was that dark blue, pulled in the colors of the pattern paper. So finally decided that we're going with this pink pattern paper, and I found an embellishment to go on the front. This was from one of Allie's scrapbook kits, maybe the Rainbows kit, I believe. Actually, that makes sense. And then it's a 4x4 pocket, and that little rainbow flips down. So I decided to add a photo to the inside of the flip and just a tiny bit of journaling. And I'll show you that in just a moment, but I'm connecting the pattern paper and the photo together, repunching the holes with my punch template there. So what I did is I grabbed my photo, cropped it to 3 by 8 by 3 by 8, sorry, 3.8 by 3.8. And then I was able to cut it a little bit closer. I only cropped it into like a half circle, trimmed the edge a little bit closer to where it was going to need to be. I know it doesn't make sense because you're not seeing any of these things, but that's kind of what I did just so I could get as close to the circle as possible. Used double-sided sticky tape and then trimmed around as best I could. It's difficult because it being a circle and being flipped out and you can't really get your hands in there, but I just took my time and used my micro tip scissors and that worked really well. So happy with how that came about. And just did some handwritten journaling in there, just saying that I'd been planning this surprise for months and months, and then that I had been working on some stuff for her. And then I'll be showing you a live look of what everything really looks like, and that'll be a little bit easier for you guys to see. So I apologize for the craziness, but I hope you enjoy. Okay, friends, we're all done with day 5, so just starting out with my daily transparency. Rolling right into my 3 by 8 card here. Got my journaling on there. And then I went back in and looked for a photo. I almost used this as one of my 10 by 4 photos and was going to add some pattern paper. And then I realized, it was still a rainy day and that this could maybe make like a cool vertical shot because I needed one. So I kind of ended up changing that around. And then I thought that this was a fun little tag to add on there because it's really simple. Doesn't need to say anything else. So just this worked out well. Got all my photos in here. I had briefly debated using this Friday tag here in place of this because it was hard to see, but once I backed it on some white paper, it made it a little easier to see. And I still want to add like a floral chipboard or something on there. Once I get to the end of the project, I'll go back in and add a bunch more of these in. And then I also thought that this was a good color to add in, and the Rise and Shine sentiment worked with that pattern paper. Now on the back here, I used 2 different cards from the Right Now kit, another chipboard circle, and my Friday chipboard tag with my same ribbon, and then I used a circle sticker like I've been doing. This is probably from the Morning kit, I guess, or the Rise or Shine kit, something like that. I mean, I'm starting to say Rise and Shine. I'm not sure where, but added those on. Did a little cluster of embellishments here. I kind of had forgotten to add one of these, so I sort of added it on after the fact. You can tell because it's not layered very well, but it's okay. So I added my Friday chipboard with the brad. This is from one of those Studio Calico chipboard sets that I've been working off of here. And added that on with some vellum behind it. And then on the back here, I just stapled on one of these pieces from the Now Story kit. I love that because it really makes her eyes stand out. I did go ahead and decide to add on that full piece of pattern paper. I had really hemmed and hawed for a while about what to put in there. And because I did use the pattern paper here, I didn't use it here. This is a little bit of a cut off extra piece from a card I cut down. So it's like this little tealy part here. So I thought that was a nice little change of pace from the floral. I didn't need to add more floral where there was already a ton. Added another die cut there, just pulling in those navy blues. Went with teal for my font that day to really help pull in some of that color. And of course that pattern paper. Here, kept these 2 really simple. I've been having a harder time adding in these last couple words just because I don't have really good photos to put them with, but the reading one, you can see he's reading his phone. So I popped that in there and did kid drop off of my Heidi Swap puppy stickers. The teal ones I went back to. And then so far in the album, I have not added anything onto these craft pockets, but I really wanted to get one of these die cuts in, and the food one made sense there. And I tried putting it in the center of my plate, and it just was too big scale wise, and it just looked good here. And Friday was already cut off anyway, so I kind of just went with it. Added my, sorry guys, I keep yawning. Added my handwritten journaling. And then on the back here, you can see where I had just cut that down into a 4x4 pocket, basically just because I didn't have any food photos all day except for the one at dinner. So, you know, I didn't use this one this time. So I'll just set that aside and use it in another project somewhere. And then I ended up putting my vellum heart here on that photo. So it's kind of a little repetitive, but I like the repetition of color. Ended up putting this on here and going with the one day at a time. I also really struggled there with deciding if I should go with this craft paper, but ended not using it. I'm going to try to use it on one of the next 2 days maybe. Did a little flip down here with some journaling, and then just talking about how I had been planning a surprise for Caitlin, and then a photo of the bracelets that I had been working on making her. Decided to put the core memory there. And then on the back, added that tag like we had talked about with one of those little tiny star brads. So, still excited to work on the next 2 days, even though the photos are going to be a struggle. It might take me some time to get to those. I do want to try to get more photos of the kids, especially a photo with their dad, like I did last year. So we'll see if I can maybe incorporate what really happened that weekend, plus adding on a few more photos of a more typical day for us on a weekend, just because it was hardly any photos in there. So anyway, hope you are continuing to enjoy this. This one I kind of skipped through a lot of the embellishments because it's getting repetitive, but I hope you're still enjoying the walkthroughs. So thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.